Let's bring in Nick Daniels, president of the National Air Traffic Controllers Association. Nick, thank you very much for being with us. Just share with us and with our viewers, what is this situation like for your people?
Well, thank you for having me. It's becoming more difficult to articulate day by day. The stress, the frustration, and a job that we already know is one of the most high demanding, high consequence jobs in the world. And yet now there's a level of hopelessness. They wake up to the same headlines as America wakes up to every day that says there's no end in sight. And that absolutely is no way to start a shift. And it obviously doesn't put gas in a car or have any way to help pay for your child care. And that's what the controllers are contending with day in and day out on top of this extremely difficult job.
So give us the reality in terms of what happens in that air traffic control booth that we're looking at the right-hand side. I live not far from Newark Airport. I had friends there on Friday night, waited 2-3 hours for their planes to get off. So, and we know Secretary Duffy has said that they will not compromise safety. So basically that means you've got fewer people and it's going to take a whole lot longer, right?
I think the number one thing to understand is that the staffing shortage that this country is facing is real. Secretary Duffy, we partner with him. We share the same vision of bringing more air traffic controllers to the system. We operated with only 10,800 certified controllers, and there should be 14,633. We are 3,800 controllers short today. And now, over the course of the last week, we're getting reports of certified controllers resigning because of the government shutdown. We're getting reports of trainees resigning because of this shutdown. So yes, when one person now has to do the job of two, we have to combine positions because we have air traffic controllers that can't afford to put gas in their car or pay for childcare. These issues are going to mount day by day.
I mean, it's truly frightening. And then you think about the stresses that you refer to, and on top of no paycheck, and the way this job works, what you have to do to concentrate on these flight paths and to allow planes to come in and land and make sure that they don't run into other planes that are coming in and landing. This is such a high stress job. You know, tell us what the impact is on that part of this.
No, these American patriots, they are the unsung heroes that Secretary Duffy speaks about so often. They are the ones that have been thrust into the spotlight, into center focus of a shutdown. And air traffic controllers, we don't start shutdowns. We're not responsible for ending shutdowns. But who does? It's Congress. And that's why we're saying end the shutdown immediately. It's not like we're sitting here talking about an aviation issue. We're talking, I understand the fears, the frustrations of the American people. We want to do an amazing job on their behalf, and we are. We're showing up to work every day the best way that we can to get through this crisis, but this isn't something that we asked for. We didn't want to put ourselves in the middle of it, yet here we are, the rope in the tug-of-war game that we didn't ask for at all, and we should not be used as political pawns in any way, shape, or form for these shutdowns.
Yeah, it's too important what happens in our skies, and God forbid something happen as a result of all of this. We know that Secretary Duffy has said that people will not lose their jobs. He understands the stress that they're under, so hopefully we can get this thing back up and running very soon. Nick Daniels, president of the National Air Traffic Controllers Association. Mr. Daniels, thank you, and thank everybody who works as part of your association for what they do. Thank you, sir.
We will. Thank you so much.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.